Thank you very much to once again to welcome you to Zone African Motives, whereby now I want us to do the memo for essay. I want us to do memorandum for the essay, which was written in September this year, 2025, which was written in Free State Province. So that is a term 3 exams that was written. So we are going to give you, I'm going to give you the memorandum on what you wrote and try by all means that you're going to use that memorandum as a preparation again for the final exams that you're going to write. It will help you a lot for the final exams because 80% of these questions will be asked again on the final exam. So chances are high that even these essays that you wrote are going to appear on the final exams under your paper 1. So make sure that you're going to be together from the start of this presentation to the end. So this is paper 1. This is paper 1. Business studies. Business studies. So that is that. So without wasting time, let us go straight to our instruction that is given. Let us go straight to our instruction that is given. Our instruction reads as follows. Answer any one question in this section. So as you know that under section C, you are to choose one question. You are to choose one question. But for us now, we are going to attend to both of question 5 as well as question 6. Hope we are together. So note, clearly indicate the question number of the chosen question. The answer to the question must start on a new page. Example, question 5 on a new page or question 6 on a new page. So now we are going to start with question 5. We are going to start with question 5, business strategies. So the scenario that we are given says business strategies need to implement a strategic management process to improve internal operations. Porter's 5 forces model enables business to analyze their position in the market. Some use diversification strategies to deal with the challenges posed by the business environments. And they also need to evaluate what their strategies. So what we are given here is what we are going to write on our AC. It means you are going to expect questions under Porter's 5 forces model. Here on the aspects that are going to be given. You are going to expect also the aspects of diversification strategy is going to be there. Challenges posed by the business environments. Also, we are going to evaluate what the strategies. So now let us move on. So now we are asked to write essay on a business strategy in which you will include the following aspects. You write an essay in which you include the following aspects. We are always going to be given what the aspects that we are to write on. The first aspect says outline the strategic management process. Outline the strategic management process. Explain 3 types of diversification strategy. Discuss how business could apply the following forces of Porter's 5 forces model to analyze the position in the environment, in the market environment. So those are power of suppliers, phrase of substitution or substitute. Those are 5 Porter's Potter's five forces model. So the last aspect under question 5 says advise business on the steps they should consider when evaluating strategies. So this is what we are going to do. So first, before we can write or go on with our essay, we first have to do what? We first have to write what? The introduction, which is 2 marks. So here we are on our answers. Here we are on our answers now. Here we are on our answers. So here are our answers under section C, question 5. So question 5, business environments, business strategies. So we have to do what? The introduction, which is going to give you 2 marks. So the introduction that we are given here is that strategic management process allows business to develop turnaround strategies to enhance or improve their operations. So it means when we talk of the turnaround strategy, that is where it is used as it is used when business is struggling and now it needs to recover. That is why we are talking about a turnaround. That is a strategy used when a business is struggling. When a business is struggling and needs to recover. And needs to recover. So that is why it says strategic management process allows business to develop turnaround strategies so as to enhance or improve their operations. So that is that. So this turnaround strategy focuses on reducing costs, improving efficiency, and as well as restructuring what the operations. Hope we are together on that. So another introduction that you can come up with is that a critical analysis of Potter's five forces model requires business to conduct continuous research on the latest development in the market. So meaning to say, now this is where we are going to do what? We are going to analyze Potter's five forces model. This is where we can say this model helps a business understand the level of competition in the market. So it helps business to understand level of competition, in the market, in the market. So that is by looking at the supplier power, buyer power, new entrants, substitute, competitive, rivalry, all those things. So this is how this is going to help us. So it's going to help us to understand level of competition in the market because you are now going to know the power of buyers, the power of suppliers, new entrants, the substitute products. If ever what you're offering can be easily substituted or not, whether the competition is intense or not. So that is that. So now we are moving on to another point that can be your introduction. The effective implementation of diversification strategies. The effective implementation of diversification strategy enables business to gain one competitive advantage now in the market. So we know very well we are talking about diversification strategy. We are talking about entering the markets, entering new markets or adding new products to reduce risk or grow what? A revenue. So that is whereby now you are entering what? New markets and adding new products. So that is a diversification strategy. So you're going to do that diversification strategy in order for you to do what? To have what competitive advantage, to try to differentiate your business to your competitors. Also, we are talking about the strategy evaluation. Strategy evaluation is the process of monitoring business activities and as well as performance results. As well as performance results. So this is where we're going to monitor business activities and performance results. Business is whereby now is going to track, business must track progresses and measure performance against set goals. So they're going to track what? They're going to track performance. They are going to track progress. Sorry. They are going to track progress. I'm going to try to track progress and measure performance. And measure performance. And measure performance against goals to ensure strategies are working. Measure performance against goals to ensure strategies are working. So that is that. So that is how you can make your introduction. You can take one of those points. So introduction, you can talk about one of the mentioned points on the aspects that are given, but make sure that you're not going to repeat it on the body of your essay. So that is that. So now let us move on. Let us move on. Now we come to strategic management processes. Strategic management processes. As you can still remember that this is one of the aspects that we're asked to do. One of the aspects that we're asked to do, outline the strategic management processes. So this is what now we are going to answer. So strategic management processes. So we have two options. So we are going to first start by the option one. Option one says have a clear vision or mission statement or measurable or realistic objectives in place. That is that. You have to have what? A clear vision. This is where now you're going to do what? Define the purpose of the business and direction it wants to take. So that is what we're going to say. We're going to define the purpose of the business, and direction it wants to take. And direction it wants to take. So that is that. Also, another strategic management process, as we are to do the strategic management process, another point is that identify opportunities. You are to identify opportunities, weakness, strengths, threats by conducting what? Environmental scanning or situational analysis. So that is that you are to make sure that you're going to identify the opportunities, weaknesses, strengths. That's when you're talking about what? A SWOT analysis now. That's when you're talking about a SWOT analysis. So you identify opportunities, weakness, strengths, threats by conducting environmental scanning. So you have to do what? Environmental scanning. So you have to see where your business is positioned, where to try by all means to correct so that you know your weakness and try to make sure that you're going to work on your weakness, capitalize on your strength, and try by all means to do those. Also, it further on says, tools available for environmental scanning may include SWOT analysis, may include SWOT analysis, Porter's five forces model, Pestel analysis, industrial tools. So those are the tools that are available for environmental scanning. So these are the tools that you can use to scan what? The environment. You can either take one of these tools so that you'll be able to scan and know the environment. So that is that. So these tools help identify strengths. With these tools, you can be able to identify strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats like that. Also, you can know the buying power of the customers that you want to serve, the buying power of the suppliers. So that is that. So now let us move on. No, it further on says formulate alternative strategy to respond to challenges. Formulate alternative strategies to respond to challenges now. So now you're going to generate different strategies. You're going to generate different possible strategies and choose the most suitable one. You're going to try by all means to generate different possible strategies and choose the most suitable and choose the most suitable. So that is that. So you're going to come up with alternative strategies, generate different possible strategies, and then you're going to choose which one will be able to solve the problem. So now we are moving on. It says develop an action plan, including the tasks to be done as well as deadlines to be met, resources to be procured, resources to be procured. So that is where we are asked to do it, to develop an action plan. Develop an action plan whereby now you are going to include the tasks that are to be done, when at the completion of those tasks, as well as the resources that are to be bought that are going to be used. Implement the selected strategies by communicating them to all stakeholders, organizing business resources and motivating staff. So you implemented selected strategies. As you know, success depends on clear communication and teamwork. So you need to have what? A clear communication. A clear communication and teamwork. Clear communication and teamwork. So that is that. In applying the chosen strategies. So there should be clear communication and teamwork for your organization to apply what? The chosen strategies. So if further on it says continuously evaluate, monitor major strategy in order to take corrective action. So meaning to say we are going to do what? Regular check progress. We are going to do regular check progress. We're going to do regular check progress and outcomes against goals. Against goals. So this is what we are going to do. This is what we are going to do. So now we have two options. Now we have to go to the option 2 now. You can choose one of these options. So now we have to go to option 2. Option 2 says review or analyze or re-examine the vision or mission statement. So that is option 2, whether now you are to reassess if the business purpose still matches changing environments. That's when you are saying you review or re-examine mission or vision statement. You are going to do what you call reassess. You are going to do reassess. So you reassess and try to find out if the business purpose, if the business purpose still notices the changing environments. If the business purpose still notices the changing environment. Conduct now an environmental analysis using modules such as POST-12, Porter's Fire Forces model, SWOT analysis. So you are to conduct environmental analysis. You're going to study political, economic, social, technological, legal, as well as the environment and the state. Also, you have to know, try to understand the buying power, as well as the power of the suppliers, spread of new entrants, also strength, weakness, opportunities, and strength. So that is that. Now we have to go to another point. Oh, yeah, and now on another point, it says formulate a strategy such as a defensive or retrenchment strategy. So that is that you formulate a strategy. You formulate a strategy such as defensive or retrenchment strategy. That is where right now you are trying to say you are going to develop, formulate what is strategy. You are formulating what strategy. So you formulate strategy by developing what, let's say, a plan of action to achieve goals. So that is that. Now let us move on. So now we are on another point, which says implement strategy using templates such as an action plan. Implement strategy by using a template such as what? An action plan. So you put the plan into action. You are going to put plan into action. Your plans are going to be put in action with proper allocation of resource. With proper allocation of resources. Then together on and say control, evaluate, monitor the implemented strategy to identify gaps, deficiencies in implementation. So you are to control, evaluate, monitor to implement strategy to identify gaps and deficiencies in implementation. So when you are trying to control and monitoring, that is when we are saying you are going to measure performance against targets. You're going to measure performance against targets. Against targets. That is where we are going to say we are going to see if objectives are achieved or not. That is that. Take corrective action to ensure goals or objectives are met. So this is where now you're going to make what adjustment where necessary. You're going to do adjustment where necessary. That is where you make adjustment where strategies don't deliver expected results. So hope we are together on that. So now we are moving on to another aspect. We are moving on to another aspect. Now we are talking about what? 3 types of diversification strategy. 3 types of diversification strategy. three types of diversification strategy. As we were asked on our question 5, there's this aspect which says explain three types of diversification strategy. Explain three types of diversification strategy. So let's quickly attend to the three types of diversification strategy. So here we are under diversification strategy, as we are told about concentric diversification. Concentric diversification. With concentric diversification, this is where now we are adding related products or services to existing business. So this is where we are adding um, related products or services to existing business. To existing to existing products. So that is that. Like it says, the business has new product or service that are related. To add new products or service that is related to existing products. Products that you're going to add, should relate to existing products, which will appeal to new customers. Very important as well. So those products that you're going to add should appeal to new customers. That is that. So that is when you can make an example of an Apple originally making computers. And now it is diversified into smartphones, tablets, smartwatches, all related to tech and electronics. You see, they are related. So Apple was originally making what? Computers. Now it diversified into smartphones, tablets, smartwatches, and all are related to tech and electronics. So also it will change when the business wants to increase its product range and market. So when the business wants to increase what? The product range. And when they want to expand their market, that is that. So now let us go to horizontal diversification. Let us go to horizontal diversification. So with horizontal diversification, it says the business has new products or services that are unrelated now to existing products. Remember, we add new products that are related. But if this one, we add new products and services that are unrelated to existing products, which may appeal to existing customers. This one, we are going to appeal to existing customers, though the products are unrelated. That is horizontal. So we can make an example of a soft drink company like Coca-Cola adding bottled water. You see, bottled water or energy drinks to attract same beverage consumers. You see, that is that. You are introducing new products to the same customer base, but not directly related to existing products. That's what it means with this horizontal diversification. It simply says you are trying by all means to introducing new product to the same customer base. The same customer base, but not directly related to existing products. But not directly related to existing products. Related to existing products. That is that. So it occurs when the business acquires or merges with the business that is at the same production stage but may offer different product. So that is that. So now let us move on to conglomerate diversification. Let us move on to conglomerate diversification. Conglomerate diversification. So with conglomerate diversification, the business adds new products or services that are unrelated to existing products, which may appeal to new groups of customers. So that is that. Entering completely unrelated industry. Entering completely unrelated industry. So that's what it means in short. Example, we can make an example of Samsung not only makes electronics, but also operates in construction, insurance, and shipbuilding industries and are related to one another. So you can see they are completely unrelated industries. So it means that the business grows into new products or services and markets. So that is that. Now we are to move on. Now we are to move on and share another aspect. So now we are on Porter's 5 forces mode. The application of Porter's 5 forces, whereby we are going to start with what? The power of supplier. So as we have seen that we are asked to do that. We are asked to do that. As you can see here, it says discuss how business could apply the following forces of Porter's 5 model to analyze their position in the market. So now we have to talk about power of supplier, rate of substitutions or substitute. So that is that. So let us quickly go and attend to it. So here we are for us to talk about Porter's 5 forces model. So we are first going to start by power of suppliers. So with power of suppliers, this model looks at how much influence suppliers have on pricing. It looks on how much influence suppliers have on pricing, quality, and availability of inputs. And availability of inputs. So that is that. So as it says, assess the power of supplier in influencing prices, like I've said. Suppliers that deliver high quality products may have power over businesses. The quality itself can give what? The business what? The power. The smaller the number of suppliers, the more powerful they may be, as the choice of suppliers may be limited. So the small number of suppliers, the more powerful they may be, as the choice of suppliers may be limited. So if there are few suppliers, it means now they're going to have more power. As now the choice will be limited. Customers will be forced to buy from those suppliers. Identify kind of power of suppliers have in terms of the quality of product, service, reliability, and to make prompt deliveries. That is that. So that is the power of suppliers. So let us quickly go to the phrase of substitute. The phrase of substitute. So with this one, with phrase of substitute, what we are trying to say with this one, that is, it refers to the risk that customers may switch. It refers to the risk that customers may switch to different products. May switch to different products that meet the same, that meet the same need. So the higher the availability of substitutes, the higher the freight. The higher the availability, the higher the availability of the substitute, the higher the availability of substitutes, the higher the freight. The higher the freight. So if there are so many, if your product is easily substituted, it means now the freight is going to be higher because many people will enter into that market and compete with you. So we are here under threats of substitution and substitution. So they said business products can be easily substituted. Business products that can be easily substituted weaken the power of the business in the market. So if the product that you are selling, like we have said, if there is a higher the availability of substitute, it means that is going to weaken what the power of the business. Establish whether the sellers of substitute products have improved their products or sell lower quality goods at the lower prices. So try to find out whether the sellers of substitute products as a business, they have improved their product or do they sell them at lower cost or also at lower prices or sell them at lower quality. Business selling unique products will not be frightened by substitute. So we're talking about those business that are selling products that are of high quality it's going to be hardly that they can be substituted. So such business are not going to be afraid or be threatened by the substitute products. Assess if customers are using substitute product services and determine the reasons for why are they using that substitute products. As a business, try to find out. So that is that. Now we are to move on to another aspect. We are to move on to another aspect now, which is a strategic evaluation. We are under strategy evaluation because strategy evaluation as well, we were asked to do what? Strategy evaluation. Steps in strategy evaluation is there on the aspect that are asked. We are asked to do what? Strategy evaluation. As we can see here, it says that advise business on the steps they should consider when evaluating the strategies. So now let us go and attend it. Steps in strategy evaluation. So the first one says, examine the underlying basis of business strategy. Examine the underlying basis of business strategy. So you underlie basis of business strategy. This is where we're going to check if the strategy is relevant. That is whereby trying to check if strategy is relevant and realistic in current market. So that is how you can try to examine the underlying basis of business strategy. We're going to check if strategy is relevant and realistic in the current market. Is it relevant or not? So like, for example, we can just say a retail store reviews if low-cost pricing strategy still attracts customers or not. That is that. So also look forward or backward into the implementation process. So you assess both past performance and future expectation. That's what it means. You assess both past and future expectations. Expectations. So that is that. Also, you are to compare expected performance. Compare the expected performance with the actual performance. Performance. Expected versus the actual performance. So you measure results against the goals that were set. You just measure results against goals, against goals that were set. That were set. That is that. Also, you are to take what corrective action. Take corrective action so that the deviations may be corrected. You take what? A corrective action. You adjust strategies when actual results do not meet expectations. So this is where you're going to do what? You're going to adjust strategies. So you're going to make this adjustment if ever the actual results do not meet what the expectations. That's what you're going to do. Set specific dates for control and follow up. That is that. Set specific dates and control. So evaluation, it means that evaluation must happen at the planned intervals, like to say monthly, quarterly, yearly. So that's what it means. Now, you are to decide on the desired outcome. Decide on the desired outcome. Decide on the desired outcome. Meaning to say, clearly state what the strategy should achieve. Clearly state what the strategy should achieve. That's when you're talking about profit growth, market share, cost reduction. So that should be clearly. Consider now the impact of the strategic implementation in the internal and external environments of the basis. You consider the impact of strategic implementation in the internal and external environments. So that is wherever you're going to try to evaluate how strategies affect employees, resources, and the market. So that is what it means. So now we are to move on. Now we are to give what the conclusion of our question 5. So we have to conclude like in the beginning, we started with introduction, which we've said you're just going to score 2 marks on this, same as conclusion. So we can say business should always assess strategic management process to be able to respond effectively to new trends in the market. So you have to always assess strategic management so that we can respond positively to the trends that are going to take place in the market. The financial sustainability of the business is significantly improved through correct application of diversification strategies. So make sure that you're going to do these diversification strategies so that you can try by all means to improve financially, because you are to make sure that you're going to expand your product lines. You're going to expand your product lines, you're going to add new products and stuff like that so that you increase your market share. The effective implementation of diversity strategy may result in financial stability and future business prospects. That is true. If you diversify, it means you are trying to grow your business so that you're going to keep the customers with the business. They're going to buy under one roof. That is that. The correct application of Porter's 5 Force model allows business to develop relevant business strategies that may yield fruitful results. So that's what it means. That is the correct of Porter's 5 Forces model. Strategy evaluation enables business to deal with challenges in implementing new strategy. So that is all about question 5. So now we are to move quickly to question 6. We are to move quickly to question 6. Question 6 is all about what the human resource function. It reads as follows. Business follow correct selection procedure to fill the vacant post to reduce unnecessary expenditure. They offer attractive fringe benefits to their employees to improve their products and services. They also conduct interviews to provide opportunities for applicants. Induction is offered when the employees accept what they offer. So this is what we are going to talk about in the whole essay under question 6. So now it further says, write an essay on the human resource function, which will include the following aspects. Whereby now we are going to include what these aspects. Outline the selection procedure as a human resource activity. Explain the purpose of an interview in the business. Discuss the impact of fringe benefits on business. Suggest the benefits of induction to business. So let's quickly go to our answers. So here we are on under question 6, human resources. So like question 5, we're going to start with what? The introduction. So let's quickly go to the introduction. Selection refers to choosing the best candidates with necessary skills and ability to execute given tasks successfully. So when you select, you are going to look for candidates with necessary skills, candidates who are going to be competent to deliver in the workplace, who are going to be competent to deliver. We're talking about those candidates who are going to be competent in the workplace to deliver. Interview needs to be planned as it is an arranged meeting with a job applicant to evaluate their suitability for the job. So you need to plan for it because failure to plan it properly, it means now you're going to find your business with those employees who are not going to be able to meet the demands of your business. So make sure that it is well planned. Induction is an orientation process of new employees in the workplace. We know with induction, we are trying to welcome the new employees, trying to familiarize them with the workplace so that they can even know the structure, organizational, the organogram of the organization, who they are going to report to, they are going to know their tasks, the duties that they are going to perform and stuff like that. So induction is as well very important. So you can also make an introduction by talking about the induction. That is that. A proper induction process enables new employees to have better understanding of the business standard operating procedures. That is true. You're going to know the overall uh, standard of operating of the business. So that is if you are inducted. So that is that. So let's quickly move on to selection procedure now, which it has both option 1 and option 2. So let's quickly go to option 1. When we are trying to select and when we are trying to come up with the best candidate who is going to be able to deliver at workplace. They say for you to do a good and proper selection, determine fair assessment criteria on which selection will be based. Determine fair assessment criteria. So you need to make sure that there is a fair assessment criteria. So that we can come up with a very good candidate. Applicants must submit application forms and their curriculum vitae CVs and certified copies of personal documents, IDs, proof of qualifications, and etc. So we are going to make use of this tool, the application forms. These tools are going to help us so that we can see their qualifications, whether the qualifications that they have are going to respond to the needs of the vacant position. So that is that. So now we are also sort the received documents CVs according to the assessment or selection criteria. So it further on says screen or determine which applications meet the minimum job requirements and separate this one from the rest. You know, there are some other people who take chances. They can even apply, even if they know for sure that they don't qualify. You'll say they are trying their luck. So we are going to do what? We are going to screen, trying to take those who are not qualified and remain with the qualified uh, candidates, whereby with these qualified candidates, you're going to choose the best out of them. So we first remove those who we know for sure that they don't qualify. So that is that. So now let us move on. Also, it says preliminary interviews are conducted if many suitable applications are received. So we only go for preliminary if we have so many applications on our table. So that is that. Reference checks should be made to verify the content of CVs. E.g., contact previous employers to check work experience. So we can make a reference check as to try by all means to verify what the applicant gave on the CV. So you just make a follow up with a reference check. So now compile a short list of potential candidates identified. So you compile a list of potential candidates, meaning you're talking about those who are qualified. So you make what? A short list. Test the candidates who have applied for senior position. So for those who applied for senior position, try to take them to test and see that they are going to be able to perform. Invite shortlisted candidates for an interview. So those who are shortlisted are now going to be interviewed, and then you're going to choose the best out of those qualified candidates. A written offer is made to the selected candidates. So the one who the business opted for or is now going to have a written offer. And then inform unsuccessful applicants about the outcome of the applications. Some adverts indicate the deadline for informing only successful candidates. So make sure that if you're unsuccessful, you let them know that they are not going to be able to be hired. That is that. So now let us move on to another option. As we are given two options. So now we are on option 2. So with option 2, we're going to receive documentation. Like in option 1, we're talking about these tools, application form, solve it according to the criteria of the jobs we talked about. Then you evaluate CV and create short list and screen of the applicants. So you evaluate CVs and then you make a short list. Then you take out those who are not qualified. Check information on the CV and conduct reference. Same as what you've said. You check the information on the CVs and then quickly conduct their referrals, the previous employers to say. Conduct preliminary sitting interviews to identify applicants who are not suitable for the job, although they meet all the requirements. So we know that they can be all qualified or meet the requirements, but we find that others are not suitable for the job, though they meet the requirements. Assess or test candidates who have applied for senior position to ensure that the best candidate is chosen. Conduct interview with shortlisted candidates. Offer employment in writing to the selected candidates. We talked about it. So now let us move on to the purpose of interview as one of the aspects that we're asked to talk about. Purpose of interview. Now we are on the purpose of interview. The purpose of interview is to determine candidates' suitability for the job. They can meet the requirements, but you find that they are not suitable for the job. That's what you have said when you were thinking about the selection procedure. We talked about that. You find that they meet the requirements, but they are not suitable. So it's very important in this with interview that you're going to be able to come up with a suitable candidates who will fit very well today with the background position. Obtains information about the strengths and weakness of each candidate. So through interview, you'll be able to obtain their strength and weakness. We will also be able to evaluate the skills and personal characteristics of the applicant. So their personal characteristics also matters. So that is why you are to go for interview. Next, the information provided by the applicant to the job requirements. So what he gave or she gave on her application, you are going to apply by all means. That is through the interview that you can be able to match the information that he or she provides with the job requirements. Creates an opportunity where the information about the business and applicant can be exchanged. So that is that. So now we have to move on to the benefits now. The benefits or the impact of fringe benefits. So, when you talk about the impact, now we're going to talk about negative and as well as positive. Now let's start with positives of the fringe benefits. The fringe benefits improves productivity, resulting in higher profitability. So if there are benefits that the employees are getting, those fringe benefits, so that motivates them to work hard. So that will increase the profitability of the business. Attractive fringe benefits may result in higher employee retention. So employees who get the benefits, who get those fringe benefits, they are going to remain with the business. You are not going to go anywhere. You're not going to have that high employee turnover. No. It also attracts qualified or skilled, experienced employees. So it also attracts qualified skilled employees who may positively contribute towards the business goals or objectives. So it attracts those qualified, skilled, experienced employees. They are the ones who are going to apply and come to your business. But if there are no fringe benefits, it means you're going to be with those employees sometimes that are without necessary skill to do this. It also increases employee satisfaction, loyalty, as they will be willing to go extra mile. So also it's going to increase employee satisfaction. The employees are going to be loyal to the organization that is giving what the fringe benefits. Businesses save money as the benefits are tax deductible. So business is going to save money as benefits are tax deductible. So fringe benefits can be used as a leverage for salary negotiations. So that is that. So now let us see the drawback. Let us see the drawback, which are the disadvantage now, negatives. The negative are the disadvantages of fringe benefits. Business who cannot offer fringe benefits fail to attract skilled workers. That's what we say. If the business is not giving out the fringe benefits, if they are not benefits, one I say is car allowance, those benefits that you need, they are fringe. You are not going to attract. So, as we have said, that business who cannot offer fringe benefits, they are not going to attract skilled workers. They are going to uh, be with those employees who are not competent enough to do. It can also create conflict and lead to corruption if allocated unfairly. So if the fringe benefits are allocated unfairly, so there will be what do you call a corruption. Fringe benefits are additional cost that may result in cash flow problems. So those are additional costs. So the business incurs what the expenses with this fringe benefits. So that is that. So errors or mistakes, errors or mistakes in benefit plans may lead to costly lawsuits and regulatory fines. Errors or mistakes in a benefit plans may lead to costly lawsuits, and then there will be fines that the business should face. Decreases business profits. They are going to decrease what? The profits, as incentives or package or remuneration costs are higher. The business is going to part ways with its profit, with some of its profit. Business who offer employees different benefits plans may create resentment to those who receive less benefit, resulting in lower productivity. So there will be jealousy that is going to be created among the employees. Those who get more benefits uh, are going to cause a resentment to those who get what less benefit, and that is going to affect what the production. So hope we understand that one. Administrative cost increases as benefits need to be correctly recorded for tax purposes. So now we're talking about another expense, administrative cost that is going to increase. Workers only stay with the business for fresh benefits and may not be committed or loyal to the task of the business. So you find that they are only looking for fresh benefits. They are not committed or loyal to the task of the business. Business must pay advisors or the attorneys to help them create benefit plans to comply with what? With the law. So they have to now pay again. You see now, is now an expense. So that is that. So now let us move on to the benefits of induction. Now we are under the benefits of induction. Benefits of induction. So it further says allows new employees to settle in quickly and work effectively, because that's when we welcome new employees. So if we induct them, we make them to settle quickly. That is that. So that they're going to feel at home. Ensures that new employees understand the rules and restrictions of the business. So you need to educate them about the business rules, culture of the business, and like that. New employees may establish relationships with fellow employees at different. So we try by all means to have a good relationship. So it is through the induction that we will have I will make these new recruits to have a relationship with their fellow employees. Make new employees feel at ease in the workplace, which reduces the anxiety as well as insecurity or fear. So that is that. We are going to put them at easy so that will help them that they are not going to feel insecure now. The results obtained during the induction process provide a base for focused training. That is true. Increases quality performance and productivity because now they are going to know their roles so that, and they're going to know the activities that they're going to do in the induction process. So that will help them to perform very well and the production will increase. Also, minimize the need for ongoing training and development. So it will also minimize the ongoing training. So it means that we save the business when it comes to costs. Employees will be familiar with organizational structure, who is their supervisor, who they are going to report to. Lower level managers are. So they will know the organogram of the organization. Opportunities are created for new employees to experience or explore different departments. So they will have that opportunity to try to explore different departments. That is marketing manager, the sales manager. They will be able to have that chance if they are taken into the induction. New employees will understand their roles, responsibilities, concerns, safety regulations, and rules. That is that. New employees will know the layout of the buildings, factory offices, where everything is, which saves production time. So they will know that now that will save your production time. Imagine when now he or she struggling to find where is the toilet, where is the office, where is that. So through the induction, he will be able to familiarize him or herself with the layout of the building. Company policies are communicated regarding conduct, procedure, safety, security, employment, contract, or conditions of the employment, working hours, the leave that they are going to be entitled to. Realistic expectation for new employees as well as the as well as the business are rated. So that is that. So also we are told that new employees may feel part of the team. So that is true. They will feel included. That is will result in morale and motivation. That will result in morale and motivation. It reduces staff turnover by as new employees have been inducted properly. So they will you have the employees that will remain with the organization. Not to hire them today, tomorrow you're hiring another one. So induction helps you to keep the employees with the business. So now let's quickly go to the conclusion now. Let us conclude. Obviously, you know that is going to give us also 2 marks. Conclusions NC 2 marks. The selection process serves as a guideline on how to eliminate unsuitable candidates. That is true. And appoint competent candidates for available posts. So that is the importance of a selection procedure. You're going to try by all means to do screening, and you are also going to make sure that you're going to eliminate those candidates that are unsuitable because they meet the requirements, but they are not suitable for the post. Fringe benefits enable business to maintain sustainability and enhance their reputations. As you will find that it is going to be able to attract competent as well as qualified, experienced employees. It is going to be because of the reputation that it has with the benefits that is offered. The interview now is designed to establish the attributes of the applicant that are relevant to the job. That's the importance of the interview. We want to look in detail the characteristics of the applicant. So it's through the interview that we can know the personality, attributes of the candidate. So that is that. Business should be well conversant with the induction program to ensure purposeful and meaningful induction for new employees. That is that. So that is all about this presentation. So make sure that you are going to go through this as to make a revision so that you can see where you went wrong so that you can correct and then know that when you sit for final exam, then you'll be fully fit with the paper 1 AC. So that is that. Thank you very much for your time. Make sure that, guys, you don't forget to hit the subscription button and share with those who are concerned as well. Thank you very much.